Coming up from rejection to connection, today is the follow-up playbook. This morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, do you follow up? What do you do when you're rejected? Do you get after it? Or do you go over and wallow over in the corner and cry? Let's get after it this morning. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, coming up right now. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where
When something negative comes up.
Building muscle improves blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, John.
If the lady's saying that, you're doing.
It's a super
Be entertained by fun over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that
There we go, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. We're back at it here, everybody. We're back at it. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. The only morning show, men, to help you guys get your day started. We're kicking after today from rejection to connection. What do you do when somebody rejects you? What do you do when you're trying to sell something? What do you do when you're trying to connect with a young lady or the young man across the road? Do you follow up or do you let it fly? We're talking about it today, the power of following up, the power of accepting rejection and getting after. We got a bunch of topics today on the table. Hey, boys, do you put your ketchup in the fridge or do you put your ketchup on the counter? Where's the right place to put your ketchup? We're going to talk about that this morning as well in the lab. We're going to talk about some squats. We're going to resume the conversation we had yesterday, which was giving you guys 10 ways to get your shit sorted, your life sorted. We're going to give you guys some of the how today. And oh, by the way, we do drop some F-bombs, S-bombs, B-bombs, bad language in the lab. So if you got kids around, you might want to invite them to put the headset on, the earphones in, or walk them out of the lab, or alternatively, introduce them to a brand new dictionary of words that they may have, what they may not have heard before by tuning into Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends, because we know our friend Jimmy, John Anderson, likes to drop a bomb every now and then, and our friend Christopher Martin likes to do it as well. Speaking of the boys, we got Johnny over there, we got Jimmy over there, we got Marty over there, we got Jimmy on the buttons. We got Tommy in the community. We got Johnny puffing a cigar. And we got Marty coming on in here. Good morning, Adam Holroyd. Good to have you here this morning. Check it in first thing in the morning. I love it. I love it. I love it. Jimmy, let's bring the boys in to see what's going on here this morning. What's up, Mr. Anderson?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm waking up today feeling like the world is playing checkers and we're playing chess. I don't know. I'm in a good mood today. I was in bed, dude. I was in bed at 8 o'clock last night. I was sleeping before 9 o'clock last night. Up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I was actually in bed by shortly after 7. Don't know when I fell asleep, but it wasn't that much further. Wasn't that much longer after that.
I feel like $1 million. I feel like $1 million because of it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how it is when I get to bed in good time. And that was a wonderfully positive experience as I whirled over this morning. I'm like, yeah, this is good. Good morning, Jeremy Cunningham. Thanks for checking into the lab this morning. Good to have you here this morning. Hey, Jeremy, I'm enjoying your content you're putting out there in the feeds. And hey, Jeremy joined us on the show here a couple weeks back, and I remember Jeremy's like, hey, I got to spend some more time getting out there and getting folks to know me. Well, dude, the guy's crushing it. He's posting content regularly, engaging with the community. Creating some crazy shit that makes you kind of go pause and want to go, oh yeah, all right.
Good for him.
Yeah, it's good. It's I like when I see people just getting after it and leaning into things, you know?
Well, I think with the social media thing, for so many people, you live on this show or just in general, where they're I guess, forgive the term afraid, but whatever their own adjective is.
No, you're right.
They hold back because they're afraid of what other people are going to say, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's the whole idea. When people say something that's not normal, that's the whole reason you're posting.
Yes. And because I was having a conversation internally yesterday about this said topic. And I got to be honest, brother, you came up, because I want to rephrase this. You know, when you know something and you feel something, but sometimes you need somebody kind of just over there to kind of maybe support or endorse what you're thinking or feeling. But yet,
just say you're on track, dude. Go. Stop thinking. Move.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there's one thing that I've really appreciated about knowing you and I kind of coming together is that I've always felt comfortable doing the shit that others don't do, even if I've sometimes privately questioned it myself. Maybe like yourself sometimes, right? In your own private moments, you're going, fuck, man, should I really be doing this, right? And maybe you're past that. And you know, stop.
No, I do that, but it's because there's a difference between, I mean, I like to push. I like to test limits.
Yes.
But the idea I want to stretch people's limits out. I don't want to break their limits, because now at that point, I don't help them see that they can. I push them back deeper into their chairs.
But okay, this is good though. So I'm on the same page. I believe we naturally, just don't know what we're capable of. So ultimately, we always just achieve what we achieve. And I think of the social media game the same. And you and I had the conversation on Saturday. Let's bring Marty and Jimmy, because I know Marty feels the same way about this as well. But Johnny, you're talking to your colleague, your coach up there in Cali, and he's like, yeah, content. Marty and I have talked many times, like, you got to be making content. If you're not making content, it's just sitting on the shelf. Yet, the world is rapidly moving from an old world of social media to a world where, there's never been a time in our life where we can make this content for quote unquote free and pump it out there. So there's one thing that I'm really bullish on is getting content out there in front of people. All it takes is one. It might not be the one you're putting out right now, but it might be the one you're putting out 3 hours from now. And I think that we too often overthink it and we pause and we don't do nothing. So as a result, most of us just don't do anything. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? Marty, what's going on, bro?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
How are you, pal? Good morning, Amy Rano. Good to see you in the comments. What's going on this morning, Marty?
Hey, man, I woke up. I'm fit. I'm handsome. I feel great. I still got my youth. I can't complain. I have zero complaints, man.
Okay, guys, the show's over, John. We're done.
Show's over. That's all we need.
Marty's out there. We're all done. Hey, boys, you guys like ketchup?
Yeah, I heard the intro. Where do you put your ketchup? You fucking put your ketchup on your food.
Oh, what is Keith up to now, man?
No, that's a good question, though.
You put ketchup on your toes, guys.
Because you in a restaurant, ketchup's on a table, and it almost always stays out there. I keep my ketchup in the refrigerator, though.
So there's been a big debate. Where does the ketchup go? Does the ketchup go in the pantry, the cupboard, or the fridge? And
I guess it depends. If you got nasty ketchup, that shit, you could leave it in the hot sun. It's going to be okay. But if you're getting some good organic shit, that stuff goes foul pretty quick.
Johnny, let's ask Marty. Marty, do you eat ketchup?
This is what you do, man. This is what you do. The ketchup.
Yes, no question, bro.
Yes. Yeah, I eat ketchup. I wanted to just add it real quick. This is what I do. I don't know. I grew up in a black household. I don't know if it's different than y'all. All right. When the ketchup is not open, when it's fresh, it's in the cabinet.
Okay.
When it's open, it goes in the fridge after it's open. That's how I was taught.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should rephrase this, because we said, do you eat ketchup? No, we don't eat ketchup. We use ketchup. We're supposed to use a little bit of condiment on our food, not a little bit of food on our condiment.
Can I make a confession?
Well, I don't know about that one, Johnny.
You're a big one. I mean, because you think you can't use too much condiment.
Yeah, but that's not like you don't use food. It's still
but that's what I'm getting at. Ketchup is not a food, it's a condiment. That makes sense? You use a little bit of condiment on your food. You don't eat ketchup. You eat food. You use ketchup on your food. Ketchup is a condiment.
Well, I don't.
You ever heard the phrase, don't use a little bit of food with your condiment, use a little bit of condiment with your food?
I may have a confession, Johnny, Marty. So I knew this topic was going to go well when I saw it this morning.
It's a play on words, Mark, just so you got it.
I got you.
Because all right, what do you got, Keith? Come on, baby.
Everybody's affected by ketchup, Marty, John. Like everybody is. We all have our opinions on ketchup. It might be one of the most common staples on the planet. So I knew
it is. They use it like a weapon now, and I'll tell you how in a second.
Yeah. So I figured that it would be a great topic of discussion this morning. But I got to be honest, boys. When I was on my journey in the early days of life, and we cracked jokes about you try to find the solution that works best for you. So back because I was trying to figure out my weight loss, husky Keith, fat Keith, and yo-yo Keith, and not knowing how to eat Keith. And John, you can relate maybe, right? Those young days. So I learned. So I was like, okay, hey, I could manage my food activity because I enjoyed bread and I enjoyed ketchup. So I'd often eat ketchup sandwiches.
Oh, baby.
Yes.
I'll admit
What?
when I was a fat little son of a bitch, I would often lay a big thing of mayonnaise between two pieces of bread and chew on that. So I'm with you.
Oh,
you know?
so Johnny and Keith are standing up here naked now, Marty. So yeah, Marty, you take two pieces of bread, you slather it with butter, you throw a bunch of ketchup in the middle of it, and the best thing is when it's like the fresh Wonder Bread. So anybody tuning in right now going, I thought you guys were all about health and fitness and no ultra processed foods. Yeah. So the good old one, good times coming with the green.
I never have Wonder Bread in my mouth.
Yeah, what is going on, guys?
Barrels of the kitchen here this morning, but
see, this was before all the highly processed sugar foods, so we had to find our own way to get our fix.
That's exactly it.
That's crazy.
So it would not be uncommon, Marty. I will come to Johnny's side where I'd have a ketchup sandwich followed by a mayonnaise sandwich. Right, and it's just two pieces of bread with some butter. We should have mixed them.
We were too dumb to mix them together. That actually sounds pretty good. That's basically a Thousand Islands dressing right there.
The Keith and Johnny cookbook, and then it's gonna just be facial expressions of Marty going, "What the fuck are you guys eating?"
Oh, you know what I mean? And I was anything with sugar. Like I told you guys, I was at about a 6-year period where I was raised on a farm when I was a preteen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could fucking find me in the top of a goddamn fruit tree just eating fruit. I mean, the one time we had a bunch of beets delivered for the cattle. Right. Yeah. And it just was like fucking beets yanked out of the ground. They were all fucked up, but they were probably, couldn't sell them. I was in the fucking barn with a goddamn pocket knife, cutting up these fucking beets, skinning off the dirt off the beets, eating the beets because they were sugary. I mean, I was looking for sugar anywhere I could find it.
Oh man. So the debate, boys, Heinz has settled the debate about ketchup. It belongs in the fridge. Yeah. So after you crack your ketchup, it belongs in the fridge, Marty. So, Marty, you're doing it right,
That's
brother.
what I was taught. Okay, yeah, I just making sure, man.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
So we're the same. Yeah, we're the same.
That,
go to restaurants, they sit on the counter forever, those restaurants. And they all just coagulate and get the greasy, like those dirty ketchup bottles that have been sitting on the counter at a restaurant forever.
Oh, yeah.
You can just see it.
Yeah, think about how many germs are on that son of a bitch. Some poor bastard goes, takes a dump, doesn't wash his hands, comes back, grabs the ketchup bottle.
No bidet.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I was gonna say, if you told me I'm wrong, I gotta go talk to my mom because that's what my mom taught me.
We're gonna have
now you're gonna have to deal with her, Keith.
I was gonna say we gotta bring her on the show here. We're gonna have a conversation about ketchup, right? And how she taught young Christopher where the ketchup goes.
Yeah,
and
you're gonna have to talk to her.
Yeah, Adam Howard, I agree with you. It does taste better coming out of the fridge. Yeah. Oh, speaking of coming out of the fridge, boys, boys. I made a little piece of content yesterday thinking about you guys as I made myself some boiled eggs. So I haven't had time to make it yet, but I shot some videos of, my head in the fridge, camera in the fridge, making fun of Marty, making fun of Johnny, cracking the shells. And I'm hopeful today that I can pull it all together and make a fun piece of content with me eating protein, calling out everybody, have protein on behalf of my boys, John and Marty. So there you go. I was having some fun yesterday, guys.
There you have it.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. I need to do a fridge video. That'll be pretty funny.
Absolutely, yes. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. We got Liam Jones coming in here. Is Heinz ketchup being in the cupboard is a white person thing?
That's what I said. I said I don't know what household y'all grew up in.
Oh man, I don't know about that. And then I'm talking.
Speaking of fridge, I don't know if I ever told you guys. This demonstrates how I don't eat processed foods, right? Okay, yeah. So we don't have a pantry. Most houses have a pantry, right?
Yeah.
We basically have in our small garage, just right off the kitchen, we have a full blown commercial refrigerator double door. So we have the one that's in the kitchen, the regular size, and with the full blown double door fridge. That's because when you have food that perishes, you got to keep it cold. So you want to walk the walk of not eating processed foods. You got to give up we remodeled a house. We had the pantry ripped out.
I was just about to ask that. Did you get your house built like that purposely? I was just about to ask that.
We ripped out the pantry. It would have just turned into a fucking mat. And then the one in this house was like a fucking small bedroom too. What the fuck do they keep in here?
Dude, there's something to be said for that decision, my friend. 100%. And I know often when folks are building, I know when I built, typically a pantry is cheaper to make than cupboards and cabinets, Johnny. Yep. When you think about it, all the pantry does, and here's what I'm going to say next. Here, what Johnny said too. When you build a pantry, you're accepting a life of ultra processed foods.
Yeah.
Because what you've done then, you've essentially said to yourself, here's a big space for me just to fill up with a bunch of packaged crap. That's
Well, you know, what's crazy about this one is a little bit different. So the dude had the house built for him. He customized it for him. He had this thing built so big because he had food in there. He had like 6 months worth of food. Like if you couldn't buy groceries, he had 6 months worth of food in this pantry of like canned shit that you could eat that wouldn't perish.
Let me give y'all a curveball.
Yes.
I have a pantry, but no processed food in there.
What do you got in there, brother? Coats?
Marty. Johnny,
olive oil.
We got to get Marty to do us a video tour of his pantry.
Olive oil, coffee, oatmeal. Well, I guess oatmeal is kind of processed, but
good choice.
That'll ride the line of being as long as it's not ground up with a bunch of flavors in there.
Yeah.
No. Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. What else is in there? I keep my rice in there.
Rice.
Yeah, just it's all shit like that though. No processed food.
There you go, Marty. Oh, there you go, Marty. Marty's passing the pantry test here this morning on Mornings in a Lab with Keith and Friends.
Yeah. The one that we ripped out was borderline. I mean, I contemplated keeping it as an office. It was that fucking big. It was a small
that's
bedroom.
crazy.
But I was like, there's no fucking windows in here. This is gonna be like it's gonna feel like
dungeon.
I'm locked up in here. This is bullshit. We just ripped the fucker out.
That's what Terry gonna put you on punishment when she get mad at you. She's gonna be like, go in there, Johnny.
That's what the guest house is for, brother.
All right, let's keep the show rolling let's do the accountability check-in. Jimmy, then we're going to come back with a couple topics thrown on the table. Before we get to the bottom of the hour topic, boys, I want to talk about following up. And Johnny, I was thinking about you. Marty, I was thinking about you. This idea of following up in sales, following up when dating a girl, following up in really anything. I believe following up is one of the most fearful thing we as humans don't do, and I'm not certain why. So we're going to talk about that in a couple minutes, but before we do that, let's get the accountability check-in. Yep, baby. All right, so I got a question for you today. Ears up, everybody, ears up. Here's the question. Adam Holroyd, here's the question. Amy, here's the question. Jeremy Cunningham, here's the question. Good time. You ever catch yourself thinking, this is boring? No, not my show. No, fuck. If you're thinking the show's boring, go to a different show. All kidding aside. Have you ever catch yourself thinking this is boring? Because I have. Yeah, true story. And every time I know it means one thing, I'm disconnected from what I'm building. Yep. When you're locked in, when you're stacking wins, when discipline doesn't feel like grind, it feels like momentum. That's what it feels like. But if every day feels like you're just going through the motions, the problem isn't discipline. You're in the wrong job. You're in the wrong life. You're in the wrong space. It's how we show up. The ones who stay in the game, and get up after it every single day, they don't wait to feel motivated. Do you think I wake up feeling motivated every single day? No. This is a habit. This is a lifestyle. It's a discipline that I have. I show up. I execute. I find joy. I find joy in the little moments. I knew when I saw the ketchup conversation this morning, we were going to have a lot of joy having fun about the question of does ketchup belong in the fridge or does ketchup belong on the counter? It's fun. But when boredom sets in, you got to check in with yourself. You got to ask yourself, what the hell are you doing? Are you working towards retirement so you can sit around and be retired? Nah. Is that the kind of life you want? Really? What's one habit that keeps you locked in? What's one habit that keeps you going every single day? And if it's the habit you don't think it is, ask yourself. Or if you're stuck, what shift could you make? Because the process, nation, the process isn't meant to drain you. You shouldn't be going life drained about what's happening. It's meant to move you forward, right? Tweak what you're doing. Own what you're doing. And then build movement, which turns into momentum. That would be my invitation for you this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. So ask yourself, as you're going through your day today, is this boring? Because if it is, ask yourself why you're doing it. There you go. Accountability check-in this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Every single day around the 8:16 mark of Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, where we talk about things that help you guys get your day rolling and get yourself going out of bed in the morning. All right, Jimmy, let's keep the crew going here, guys. Let's keep it rocking and rolling here. I got to get something up on the screen here, which I thought we could have a conversation about. Hey, Marty, so just kind of playing on that accountability, you ever find yourself, you're going, this is boring, or I don't like doing this, and then do you when do you catch yourself doing something different when you ask yourself that question, Marty?
Yeah, it definitely gets boring, but you know, beauty is where boring is. Or boring is where beauty is, I should say.
Yeah. There's a lot of truth to that, eh? A lot of truth to that, actually.
Oh yeah, definitely. But just from sports, just repetition. You don't walk on the court and make shots. You probably shoot 1,000 free throws before you actually, hit 2 in a row in the game.
Yeah,
and
there
so
you go.
That's how I learned that. Yep.
That's it. We got Liam Jones here coming in with Liam's got his pantry stocked to his boys. It's funny how the most simple things that affect all of us drive great dialogue. It's true. And here's an example of overthinking content. That's why I love watching grocery stuff. Like when Johnny goes to the grocery store, because it's valuable. Right? And we should do a pantry. There's a pantry segment for us. But Liam goes, what about oil, chickpeas, rice, and lentils? There you go. Liam's got his pantry stocked properly. We got Lauren jumping in. Hey, baby, what's shaking, baby? She had a run this morning. We got Adam Holroyd saying, I wish I had time to be bored. And Cosmic Vision says, it says right on the bottle, refrigerate after opening when it comes down to ketchup.
Oh, wow.
There we go. Got a problem solver on board
There you
here.
go, yeah. And we have Liam Jones coming in, have a habit of watching live streams while having downtime at work. That's right, Liam. This is awesome. Dude, Jimmy, get down to the bottom comment. Liam's coming in with a bit. Marty, get the button ready, brother. This is not boring to me. I find this fascinating. Yes, Liam Jones. We invite you to subscribe to the channel. I'm Keith Willis. That's C. Marty Fit, Christopher Martin. That's John Anderson over there. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Hey, guys, let's talk squatting for a few moments before we get into the big topic today. I know one of the things that I get feedback from our audience coming back saying, I love that you guys are always mixing it up. You guys go from business to sex with your wives to all of a sudden lifting weights and squatting. Let's talk a little about squatting. I know we talk about it often. It is an important functional movement. But guys, let's break it down. Squats aren't just for muscle. They keep you alive. They keep you moving. They keep you thriving. Keep it real simple, boys, about the power of doing some squats and why everybody should get after a squat today.
This saying applies itself to so many things. It even applies itself to boring. And for what we're talking about, squatting is the same thing. So check this out. First, they will ask you why. Then they will ask you how.
Do tell, John Anderson. Do
Makes
tell.
sense. Like, why are you squatting? Why are you doing that boring shit?
Yes.
They're going to ask why, but then when you do it long enough, you make that boring sexy, and you become something very different, something that's people look at in a very positive, unique light. Then they come and they say, they forget about the question they asked you before, why? Then they say, how did you do that?
Oh, I like that.
You asked me a long time ago, why? Well, there you go. And how? Doing the shit you asked me why I was doing what I was doing. So remember, when you're on the right track with something, people are going to ask you, why are you doing that? Because they don't understand it. Just keep doing it. Because they'll come back. It's just a matter of time and say, how did you do that?
Well, and Johnny, let's think about this, right? I think it could be as simple, Marty, as more squats equal fewer hospital visits. No? Maybe, right? Squats keep your metabolism fast, your body lean. Squats help us go to the toilet. Squats help us pick up our children as we're older.
Squats help us with everything.
Exactly, right? It's a less chance of ending up weak and broken. So, boys, it's going to lean into this for a couple minutes this morning. But, guys, as you get through your day today, there's probably no reason you can't find a way to get down into a squat, right? Whether it's doing a squat hold. But, Marty, strong legs keep you moving, keep you working, keep you in the game. Marty, hang on the idea of squatting right now with everybody.
Listen, it's way more simple than you think. All right, think about this. We all seen this before. You see an old guy walking in the gym or walking at the mall or wherever you at, and he got the two knee braces on. Yeah, and he got no range of motion at his knees, and he could barely walk. I'm not making fun of him, but this is somebody who has been neglecting squats. This is someone who has not been squatting, right? Not only are squats going to help you
wrong to get there and then ran away from them. What do you think, Mark?
Yep, absolutely. And it's a functional movement, right? You sit down on the toilet, you sit down in the chair, you sit down on the couch. You're squatting daily. You squat when you get up from the bed. Yeah. Right. So this is someone who has not been working on that. So keep that in mind whenever you see that. That's someone who neglected squats.
Well, and listen, if you're one of these people like Marty just described, it's because you're doing it. Excuse me, the knee was designed to work in a certain pathway. And if you've banged your knees up squatting, you're using it outside of its pathway. So I'm gonna give you a little tip that people come to me all the time and they can't squat. And I get them squatting and it changes their lives. Here's the first step.
Really?
Back yourself up to a chair. The reason you're going to back up to a chair is if you lose your balance, just sit your butt down nice and safely. Okay. Back yourself up to a chair. It's the back of your knees at a chair. Take your shoes off. What you're going to do is you're going to lift your toes. Your toes are going to be in the air, not the ball of your foot, just your toes. So the weight is going to be on the ball of your feet, primarily your heel, and you'll feel like you're going to be kind of wanting to go back. That's totally fine. Right now, toes in the air, shoes are off. So you can see it. Don't cheat this. This makes a big difference.
Yeah.
What you're going to do now is you're going to gently go back and sit to that chair, but I don't want you to think about bending your knees. I want you to think about keeping your chest high, send your butt back as the first movement, which will then as a side effect, bend your knees, which will load your heels. When the weight is on your heels, you might feel like you're going to fall back. Perfect. Just sit on the chair. But what you're doing is you're using the knee in the proper pathway, all by doing two simple things, keeping your toes up and starting the movement, not by thinking about bending your knees. Because when your knee drips over your toe, it displaces pressure outside of the pathway the knee was designed to work. And this will strengthen your knee. And you start doing this at home, you'll be really, you'll start to feel better. And here's the crazy thing is, you normally know how a squat feels. This will feel very differently right away. So just start doing sets of 10, get comfortable with that pathway, and you'll know you're on the right track literally in 10 minutes of doing this. I help my clients do it all the time.
Yeah. Marty.
And I'm gonna add in too, just to add to what Johnny said, when you're putting that pressure on your heels opposed to putting on your toes and activating your knee, you're gonna activate two things that a lot of men do not activate throughout their lives. You're gonna activate your glutes, you're gonna activate your hamstrings when you put all the weight on your heels. So that you see that old guy with the knee braces on, that's someone who did not work on his glutes and hamstrings. I know it sounds funny, guys working on their glutes, but it's the truth. It's an essential muscle that we need to work for longevity. So think about that next time you see that guy with the knee braces on limping around wherever he is.
That's great advice, boys. Liam Jones, I appreciate your comments here. And Liam, if you haven't subscribed, I invite you to subscribe to our channel, Mornings Alive with Keith and Friends. We go live every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on LinkedIn, X, and YouTube, Twitch, all over the planet. And then we got content 24 hours a day across all the platforms. Boys, I want to leave you guys with one, I think, last statement that I think can really hang out there, John and Marty, for our audience, for our men that are leaning in and listening to us right now. John, as we get older, Marty, as we get older, we do not want to lose our independence. I'm going to suspect and I'm going to offer that squats may prevent, as time goes on, you losing your independence. So if we spend time accumulatively every single day, John, Marty, right now as we get older, I'm only going to think that the more often we're spending squatting and staying strong on our legs and strong on our feet and strong on our knees, it's going to dismiss that loss of independence as we get older, John.
As what limits an old person is getting weak.
Exactly correct.
They can't get off the toilet. They can't do this. They need help because they've gotten weak. Well, doing movements like a squat, I'll tell you, I'm not going to be the guy that's got to have that fucking bar by the side of my toilet.
Nah.
Yes.
The one you got to pull your way up. No.
Yes.
Yeah. Nah.
That's not going to be me.
I'll tell you, I appreciate that, Johnny. So Lauren obviously works with a lot of older folks in her industry and what she does with her career. And when I hear the statement about squats meaning you never lose your independence, like that's powerful to me because I don't want, I like you, John, I don't want to have that bar. I don't want to bust a hip or do things. So boys, I guess what we're really saying in many ways is these little tips like throughout your day today, there's no reason that you can't get some squats in. Like we're not talking, Johnny. We're not talking about go to the gym and be.
Yes, I was just gonna say you don't need a bar. Just fucking do it with your body weight.
Yeah, like we're not saying go to Marty's Gold's gym and big fucking membership and go squat 315 pounds. Well, you could if you wanted to make Marty happy. But the reality is, go for a dump, spend some time squatting, go into your bathroom, your bedroom, get up at your desk, Johnny. And
here's a tip to get this going. When I have people that are like, I need them to, I won't let them squat, with a bar first. I need them to work on the pathway.
Yeah.
10 times throughout the day. because you sit up and down all fucking day long. So 10 of those times you need to do 9 more. And you're going to get 100 squats. But when you do it is up to you. Maybe you do it when you're taking a dump. Well, you're going to get at least one there. You should be. Maybe you're going to do it when you sit down to eat a meal. Who knows? But you got to get 10 sets of that because you're going to sit down. Maybe you're going to sit down 15, 20, 30 times through the day. Well, 10 of those times when you sit down, stand up and get to your 10 sets of 10. And you will nail this so quickly. It's unbelievable.
And Marty, you don't know this yet. You don't have kids and a wife and a family. But, man, when we go to the bathroom, sometimes we want to stay in there a little bit longer because we want to stay away from the noise. Well, just stay there and do a few extra squats, boys. Just go, I'm going for a crapper and spend an extra few minutes doing some squats before you go back and see the rest of the crew. But Johnny, Marty, so Cosmic Vision, I see your comment, brother, and we're going to address it. Cosmic, you do not need better shoes. I would encourage you, Cosmic, to go bare feet. So Johnny, Cosmic's got, I need better shoes. My feet are killing me.
For squatting?
Yeah. And
I need you to take your shoes off. Did you hear this tip, baby? We need those shoes off to keep those toes up.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So Cosmic, take those shoes off or get those pair of those Vibrants, which aren't actually shoes, but they're like those flat things and flat feet, heels on the ground, right? And
my guess is he's talking about squatting with weight because standing still, squatting is less impact than taking a step or walking.
Ah, there you go. Okay, we got Cosmic. Okay, I'm going to do it. Cosmic, we want you to do it today and send us some videos or pictures and come back in and hang out with us tomorrow morning. But hey, guys, let's go. Let's keep it going here. Get after some squats today, boys. They're going to help you out. And again, this is what we do in the show. We give you little tips and tricks throughout your day. You know, I drop in with accountability check-in at 15 minutes, something to think about. Marty's going to give you a fit tip, something to think about. John's going to come in with a lifestyle tip. Then we're going to come back, boys, and talk about following up and why we got to follow up and how it gets through life. Marty, I know you got something to say, brother. Let's get after it, pal.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Fitness tip for today. Learn how to adjust, right? Some days are going to be busier than others, right? So I had a leg day planned yesterday. I thought I was going to crush it, right? I'm like, man, I can't wait. You know, I get to the gym, something pops up, throws off my whole workout, right? I couldn't do the same workout. I might have to try it this weekend, right? Because I got back today. So what I had to do was condense the workout. I had to cut down the sets, had to cut down the reps, and I had a smooth 30 minutes to just go hard, go high intensity, less rest breaks, and that's just what it was, and that's going to happen sometimes. Now, a lot of y'all in that situation, y'all would have been like, oh, yeah, I'm not working out today. I had a curveball pop up. And then unless it's an emergency, that's understandable. But if it goes from what you thought you had an hour and a half, now you got 30 minutes, hey, you could still get a workout in. You don't have to just stop, right? You know, am I a little disappointed that I couldn't get the full leg day in? Absolutely. But you live to see another day, and I'll do that workout another time. But I got my 30 minutes in. I got a great leg day in. I still got the leg gains. I got my squats. I worked the hamstrings, worked the glutes, the quads, everything. So learn how to adjust on the fly if you need to. And that's not a reason to quit or skip your workout. That's the fitness tip for today.
Marty's always dropping nuggets for you guys. Marty, we got Cosmic Vision coming in with, I'm too fat to send videos.
Oh, man. No, send the videos, man. We're not judging here, man.
No. Cosmic, we're not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the fact that you wrote that down. Like, I'm too fat. Cosmic, I've been fat. Johnny's been fat. I don't think Chris has been fat, but I've been fat. So is Johnny. So nope. I relate to your statements. So I'm too fat to send videos. Brother, I'm laughing with you, not at you, because you're like, I can just see you sending the video, sending that text, Cosmic. So come on, brother. What I love about the fact, Cosmic, is that you're vulnerable enough to make the statement. You're vulnerable enough to hang out with us. That's here.
Hilarious.
No judgment, man. We got nothing but honor and grace for those that are starting their journey, because we've all been there. Johnny was the fat son of a bitch. I was the husky kid. I get it, man. I've been there. And then Good Time, I got to be honest, I saw your comment and he's like, yeah, and scratch, boys, it's helping me. And I'm like, what? And scratch? I'm like, so, and then he's like, no, and scratch. Yes, good time, man. Scratch too. When you're on the toilet, get up and scratch your ass because
Oh, stop it, man.
What did you say to make him cover his face like that, Keith?
oh, so good time was coming in as we were talking about squatting, and he's like, and good time comes back with scratch, boys. It's helping me, as if we're telling him to scratch. I'm like, scratch, and he's like, no, stretch. So it's funny shit coming in there. Guys, let's talk about following up. Today's show, I really wanted to talk about from rejection to connection. We got AJ Zeglen joining us here in a number of minutes as well, and I thought we'd talk a little bit about how to bounce back stronger than when we get rejected. But guys, I want to talk about rejection, following up, what that process is like. And what I mean by it, guys, in business, in relationships, and in life in general. Because I think my POV on this, Johnny, I'd be curious to your POV on this. And I guess I'm talking to you as the old man here too. I think we are reluctant to follow up because we immediately think we're going to be shut down. Yet the power of following up, being the one dude who does instead of the 9 that don't, that's what sets you apart from somebody else. And then Marty, coming at you, is you're at Golds and doing your shit and selling and having to help folks out. Let's talk about the power of following up and how you had to follow up, Marty, as you were going through your journey out to California, coming back to Canada, North America. And like, you had to keep following. You had to chase as your athletic career. Boys, let's talk about following up and why it's important. Who wants to start off? Marty? Johnny?
I got to jump on this one.
Do it, buddy.
Number one, I love the concept, but I think the reason that people are so poor at it is because they don't have the habit of following up with themselves.
Oh,
I follow up with myself every fucking morning. And when you create a habit of doing something, it's really easy to do it. It's just like, the habits that you create in your life to keep yourself in good shape, you can translate those habits to your marriage, to your business. But do you have the habit of following up?
That's a great question. Every single morning, looking in your mirror and asking yourself. And John, I
was part of my journaling. I write, what the fuck did I do yesterday? I don't want to do again today. Right. I write, okay, what state of mind do I want to be in? You know, how do I want to behave today? You know, and then I go through a series of gratitude. But the first thing I think about is, okay, what did I do yesterday that I don't want to repeat again today? And that one thing is fucking powerful.
And do you always find something every day, John?
Sometimes they're little, 100%.
Yeah.
It could be something as little as, okay, at around 4 p.m. when you start to feel the little bit of strain of being tired.
Yes.
Don't let those fucking limiting beliefs sneak into the back of your head.
Yeah.
Or it could be, at fucking 7:30 when you're getting ready to go to bed. Don't go and open the fucking refrigerator and stand there like a dummy pretending you're going to find something to eat because you're done eating for the day, dipshit. I mean, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be something. We don't live perfect days, perfect lives. So there's always going to be something that you can pick out that you don't want to repeat. Here's the thing. Human beings, we repeat mistakes over and over and over. And the odds are we're going to repeat them again tomorrow. So if you don't be conscious and intentional about not removing your mistakes, you'll just keep doing them.
Marty, I got a fun video coming out tomorrow. It's going to be me standing in front of the fridge looking like a dumb son of a bitch, wondering what I'm going to eat next. Because there's all of us doing that, right? Okay, what am I going to find to eat? Even though you know that there's nothing you should be eating at fucking 9:00 at night, right, Marty?
But when you check in with yourself like that, it makes a big difference with yourself. And then it makes it very easy, to be following up with other elements of your life because you realize that there's so much success. There's so much serenity in follow-up.
Yeah. Good morning, Scott Benzie. I see you there in the comments. Thanks for joining us here this morning. Marty, are you a follow-upper or do you reluctantly follow up? Or are you like, fuck it, I'm just following up? And what I mean by that, hold on. What I mean by that is from like a business sales perspective where you just make a call, send an email, and kind of like don't care? Or are you reluctant every time you hit dial or every time you hit send?
I'm pretty strategic with my following up.
Okay.
It just depends, because a lot of people, they may actually be interested.
Yes.
Right. They might have an issue with the price, or they might just be busy and forget to make it a priority.
Yes.
Right. Those people for sure following up because, we can always work something out with the price. We could do a payment plan. Mike could get you a little deal.
Yes.
We can always do something, But, some people are just not interested, and that's okay.
Yes.
So if someone that makes it clear that they're not interested, I'm not just going to beat their door down. You know, I'll follow up, but you know, a lot of people, especially these salespeople on social media, you know, they'll DM you 100 times, which I respect it, but that's just not me. And the same for, I know you said relationships too. The fellas, don't do that with women, right? Of course, apply some pressure on her. Make it known that you're interested. But if a grown woman made up her mind that she's not interested in you, I don't think you're changing it. That's just my experience. Y'all might think differently, but that's just my perspective on it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and the business follow-up, I got a slightly different perspective there because the reason I want to follow up there is because my goal is to help everybody that comes in contact with me and my team. And if I don't find out what the hesitation is, I can't create the solution. So sometimes they just don't have any money. Well, here's some free resources to get you moving in the right direction.
Oh yeah.
Or, you know, whatever it is. So the follow-up, you know, from a like a company standpoint, we want to follow up because our goal is to help everybody. And so anybody listening, the more honest you are, the better we can help you.
Yes.
We got Lauren telling you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Isn't that true, Marty?
Yeah. So I was going to say, I'm right there with you, Johnny. I want to help everyone too. Yeah. But at the same time, there are people who don't really want the help. It sounds good.
100%. 100%.
The thought of getting fit sounds great, but when they see what it is, when they see that you're actually serious, you're gonna be on their ass, right? They don't. Then it's not appealing anymore. So those people, they could go to John or Keith. I ain't got time for that. If you don't want to be,
well, that's where we give them free resources. We say, hey, listen, here's some free resources to get you moving in the right direction. When you're ready to commit a little more to the process, let us know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's something I would invite people to think about from a business perspective. And I kind of learned this just going through my days of growing ICUC boys, which was, I believe when we're following it from a business perspective, we've often, Marty, thought that the other person's already made up their mind. In many ways, we've already decided what you, so if I was doing a follow-up with you, I might be reluctant to follow up with you because I'm already thinking you made your mind up. When I've often said to my sales folks or people in the past going, don't make the decision on behalf of them. Let them make it. So follow up with them. Right? Like until they say, leave me alone. Like here's what I've learned.
Well, give them an out too. Look, if this is not a good time, let us know. Be honest. We're here to help. You know?
In my experience, nobody has ever complained by somebody being too proactive. Somebody might be complaining if you're not reactive enough, but if Marty's constantly calling me to try to help me, I really can't fault Marty for doing his job. When there's good sales guys that keep calling me, Johnny, I will often say to a dude, man, fuck, can I hire you? Because you're good. Because I know you're doing your job. Because your job is to follow up with me to get me to say yes or no. And I can't emphasize that enough, guys. That if you want to be an incredible salesperson, entrepreneur, business person, just keep following up until they say no or I'm not interested. Because if you're not, you're actually not doing your job. It's really as simple as that. Your job is to have them say yes or no. That's it. So follow up until somebody's like, no, I'm sorry, not interested. Right? It's hard to do though, because we often are like, well, but I just bugged Johnny last week. Well, Johnny hasn't given you an answer yet. Maybe you need to ask the question a little differently. Right. And maybe a little differently on the female side of things or the male side of things when you're in the dating game. Or is it, Marty? You're like, no, I really desire this human being. I'm going to do everything I can to convince her or convince him that I'm the right person. Like, I don't know why you would, like, if you want something bad enough, I'm not sure why you wouldn't go hard at it, boys.
Good point.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's,
I think dating is a little different in business though.
go at it. Go at it.
It's a different set of rules for every topic. There's no question about it. There's no one rule that applies across the board other than the habit of the follow-up.
Yes.
Yeah. You should follow up, but like I said, I think business it makes more sense because you're really coming from a perspective of wanting to help someone, but sometimes she just don't. You know, or she might not see the value. She might see the value 6 months from now, you know, so you might have to just let her sit and think about that.
That's right. Or Lauren comes in with saying, you can't be a creep. You got to read the room.
Yeah. The creeps is a big issue now, especially in the gym. Some of the stories I see and hear are ridiculous, man. It's crazy.
Creeps in the gym. I just whatever I see on the media. I think there's a lot of it out there, right? So let's bring AJ back in. Let's bring AJ back in after the break. We'll do a lifestyle tip. We're gonna bring AJ. And we're gonna talk about rejection and how to bounce back stronger than other. I'm wondering, boys, if AJ has clients that come in and say, I've been rejected, or I'm having some issues and I don't know how to handle rejection. I don't know how to deal with it. What should I do? Let's have that conversation with AJ on how we can bounce back stronger than ever from rejection. But before we do that, Johnny, let's get something on the table, brother.
Baby. I have anxiety, and I used to suffer from it every single day until I discovered this. It works great for me. It may work for you too. What I realized was that anxiety was really just an energy. It was a motor. Sometimes it lived in my head. Sometimes it lived in my chest. Sometimes in my heart. But the bottom line is I recognized that it was power as long as I harnessed it properly. The first thing I had to do was realize that about 75% of the things that I was worrying about never actually came to reality. They only lived in my head. And then I realized that the energy that it was giving me, that thing that made me want to do something. You know, when I was younger, I used to run to food to deal with anxiety. Many people run to substance. But that energy that makes you want to do something, when you harness that for something productive, it will literally, you're basically harnessing your anxiety for good. Your anxiety is going to drive you to do something. The question is, what is it going to drive you to do? So yes, I have anxiety every day still, but yes, I've learned to harness it and help me do what I want to do to live the life I choose. So think about that. If you guys have anxiety like I do, don't chalk it up as a bad thing. Learn to use it to support what you want in your life. Rock and roll.
Oh, Johnny, I like that you shared that, brother. I'm with you, pal. I'm with you. I battle it too, man. There's some mornings I wake up and I look in the mirror and I battle it, and I find I got to have that. Sometimes
I thank it. Thank you, motherfucker. Thank you for, just like we're telling Joe about a brain fart, the wild New York guy.
Yeah, Joe Fontana.
Fontana. When he wakes up with hate, thank that hate, because that hate's going to give you the ability to go do some crazy physical shit. And when he goes running down the street.
Yeah. I find when I wake up with my, I go for that pee and have my coffee and my anxiety's racing. I just talk it through and work myself through and recognize that the day's going to come. And I've had to learn how to deal with that.
I just hook it up immediately. I put it into something. I like, okay, makes me want to move, sometimes physically, sometimes mentally.
Yeah.
I'm going to move towards something good rather than something that's going to feed this, make it worse. So I just look at it's like energy. It's another way I say it is, I didn't have time to do it in the lifestyle tip. It's like I have 100 units of effort that my anxiety gives me every day.
Oh yeah.
The question is, where do I invest those efforts into something that helps me or hurts me?
Yeah. There you go. Mr. Zeglen, good morning, brother. Marty, what's going on?
I was just going to say, I talk myself out of the anxiety.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you asked me how I was doing today, what I say? I said I'm fit.
Yes.
I'm handsome.
Yes.
I check my phone, check my text messages. Oh, she's cute. Oh yeah, I'm good. Talk yourself out of it positively, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own method, baby.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Zeglen. We got our buddy from Mindfield here, our mental performance expert from Invictus, AJ Zeglen, joining us here. AJ, do you, it's been a while since we've had this conversation about anxiety. Are there days that you battle anxiety too, brother?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think it's.
I would have been so surprised if he said no. AJ, he comes right from the heart, baby, and I love it.
I know. Yeah.
Pretty natural part of the human experience, I think. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where I get it, if I'm being honest with everyone, one of the kind of funny places I get it is thinking back at scenarios that I was in that I wish I would have maybe acted differently. So you're in one, and then all of a sudden you're starting to feel anxious about it because you're like, I should have done this. I should have said this. And you actually feel this like physical thing inside your body just being like, if that ever happens again, I'm going to do this differently or this or whatever. And you're almost like, why am I causing myself?
Isn't it crazy when you feel the physical, you feel it physically? It's nutty, man.
why am I causing myself anxiety over this thing that happened 5 years ago that still just randomly pops into my mind? You know what I mean? And I'm thinking about it and how I wish I would have done something differently or handle it a certain way. And so it's interesting how it shows up for everyone in different ways.
And AJ used a word which I know that, you know, in your profession, you speak to your clients about a word that we try not to use often, which is should, because we're shoulding on ourselves all the time, right? And I find when I'm shoulding on myself, I have to stop and correct my shoulding, because I'm like, says who? Like, who should? Like, who's the boss of should? Keith, you should do this. Oh, who's the should boss, right? You got to kind of create that awareness, because because I'm with you, brother. I'm like, oh, I should do that. Says who?
Right.
Oh, says who? Right.
Well,
so
you know, on that level, I remind, because AJ, I was crazy. I used to have a habit of this, like years ago. I would just all of a sudden, almost like I'd fucking Tourette's. God damn it, or fuck, you know, and it was me chewing myself out for something that happened way back when, right? And Terry was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, I finally told her, I said, you know, when you hear me do this weird shit, it's because I'm living something in the past that pissed me off. Then I kind of realized, you know what?
Yeah.
If I don't let go of the past, it's not going to let me live into the future. And I realized that that's energy that I'm putting in a place that I can't. I've already learned what I'm going to learn from that. There's no more learning. It's just browbeating.
Yeah.
So that's a simple phrase. If I don't let go of the past, it won't let me live.
I got a question for y'all, for the OGs. All right, we got our shit that happened in the past. We got over it. It's not affecting us. Do y'all ever just wake up and it's just like anxiety for no reason, or you just feeling like weird, down in the dumps for no reason? And like sometimes I just gotta like force my way out of it, like be super positive and just do the right things. Like I don't know why that happens, but it just happens sometimes. So
yes.
Well, brother, your frequency is what you see. If you see the dumb shit from the past, that's what your frequency is going to be. When I mean frequency, we're either high frequency or low frequency. As you can see people, you know, they're just high frequency people. They're fucking living life, right? And so I love what you're doing, because you're choosing to see the high. You're only looking at the positive, which raises your frequency.
Yeah. Guys, let's talk rejection. AJ, I'm thinking, I'm going to suspect part of the conversations that happen in your world is men, women coming in saying, oh man, what's up? I've been rejected. And let's be real. Rejection sucks. It stings. It shakes confidence, whether it's rejection at work, rejection from your children, rejection from a relationship. But this idea of being rejected, it makes you question yourself.
Yeah.
But here's the truth. It's not proof that you're not good enough. Perhaps it's proof, AJ, that you're actually in the game. Let's talk about rejection this morning, AJ Zeglin. How do you coach your clients, and how would you coach the men waking up, hanging out with us today, who are asking themselves, oh man, I'm feeling pretty crappy now because I've been rejected time and time again? AJ.
Right. So, you know, I've referenced the 4 agreements so many times on this show, but, you know, I'm a big supporter of that book and that philosophy. Yes. And one of them, what they say is the hardest agreement, right, is don't take things personally, right? And it actually says that right in the book. It's probably the hardest one to do, right? Because how do we not take things personally, right? And we have to have an understanding that each individual person that we come across with is obviously dealing with their own set of circumstances. They have their own experiences. They're doing stuff for their own reasons. They're doing stuff for their own, right? So if I go in, you know, I'm going to use a sports analogy because we've got a lot of athletes in the room. So, you know, how often have maybe you grew up, you were competitive, you played sports, there was that guy on the other team that you just didn't like each other, right? You're competitive. That guy's trying to take something from you, right? Yeah. But then you meet him outside after, maybe a few years later, or maybe you end up on some other team together or something like that. And you're like, this dude's actually like a pretty good dude. You know what I mean? Like I actually like this person. I realize that this is a solid person, but what put us, our circumstances and you know, being on different teams put us at odds with each other in this way, right? But I'm not going to take any of that personally. Actually, this is a good dude. He's just trying to win the game just like I am. and we actually have a lot in common. We get along well, right? So in
That's
athletics,
professional. That's professional too. You see it in
Mhm.
professionals all the time.
right? Yeah. And so so that's the concept. So how do we do that is obviously hard too, right? If you pour your heart out to a female and she just shuts you down and feels like she stomps all over and rips it up and kicks you to the curb, it's easy to be like, or it's easy to say, oh, don't worry, she's just, experiencing her own thing. It's nothing personal. And inside it just like there's nothing that could hurt worse, right? So it's it's okay to feel that though. Like you feel that rejection, you feel that sting, like you said, okay, I'm in the game. I've put myself out there. It's a necessity for me to grow and get to the places that I want to be, right? How am I ever going to feel the highs of the victory, without the lows of the defeats, right?
Mhm.
One doesn't exist without the other.
Yes.
So unfortunately, if it's from a romantic perspective, you have to be willing to take that chance and put yourself out there.
Yes.
If you're not willing to take that chance and put yourself out there, you're not gonna find it. You're not going to get to experience that love and that meaningful relationship. It takes a lot of courage to do that, especially if you've been shut down time and time and time again. It's like, hey, I got to dust myself off yet again and find that courage again to put myself out there. But without it, then unfortunately we never get to experience it, right? So the rejection and the success, or however you want to coin the terms, they're two sides of the same coin, right? One doesn't exist without the other.
Oh, I love
If we don't know what sour tastes like, then we can't gauge sweet.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. AJ, and there's certainly power in this idea of flipping the script, right? Where maybe rejection is a win. Maybe it's saying to you that, oh, this job wasn't for you. Or in Marty's case, this young lady wasn't for you. But it's recognizing that you said, you're right, AJ. You go down the journey, you go down the path, then you're rejected. It's finding a way to accept the rejection and then quickly recognize that it's a win.
Right.
It wasn't right. Is that maybe a way to look at it, AJ?
Dude, like so if we're staying on the topic of the relationships,
yes.
I had a serious relationship at one point in my life that lasted years and years.
Yeah.
And one day she gets home from work and I'm out of here, And I'm like, what?
Whoa.
Like that was about a 6-year thing, had lived together for 2 years. And all of a sudden, just in my mind, what seemed like just like that, it was gone. And at that point in my life is probably the worst rejection I'd ever felt. Right.
Those are tough.
Dude, I see it now. That was an integral part of my development as a person.
Oh,
it completely, like, it was like, I can't imagine it not happening now.
like what you're saying is it had to happen for you to be who you are today.
Mhm.
It had to happen. I look at the life that I have now and I'm like, that needed to happen. I look at the relationship that I have now with the amazing woman that I'm married to now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't get to happen without that rejection,
I've actually experienced that. Like Terry and I have gone through some really, really difficult points. Like we went through some true separations. And if we hadn't gone through those separations, we wouldn't have reacclimated, engaged. We wouldn't be this amazing couple that we are without those early separations. It's like they had to happen. So I so love what you're saying. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It becomes an opportunity for us to grow and develop and be better. Right. I'm so much of a better person. And when the next serious relationship came along, which is, I've now been with Melissa for almost 20 years and married for 15 this year. And I wouldn't be the person or partner or have the same capacity to have that relationship without going through that rejection, right? Like it was just a necessary step. When you're in it, oh man, nothing hurts worse. And it's very hard to see that, right?
Yes.
But if you can use it in a positive way, most of the time that includes us looking at ourselves and just worrying about the stuff that's under our control, which we talk about all the time. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I can obviously be a better partner. right? I can be a better person. Let me work on myself and bring up those qualities in myself. And I'm more likely to attract that than in the next partner, right?
Yes. Yeah. And
So
this is a great discussion. I think I want to
So
wrap
good.
up with this one statement.
So good.
Can I, before you wrap it up, can I just add one quick thing?
Yeah.
I want to say, AJ, that's what you call mind fuel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, but that's not what I wanted to say. But I just thought about that. You know how I am.
Yeah.
But no, I wanted to say, anytime I take a loss like that or have something tragic, the first thing, it took me a while to get here, but the first thing that pops up in my mind is let's fucking go, because now I can tap into a different energy.
Yep.
Right. It kind of acts as motivation in my life. So instead of you're crying about it or being super sad, you can still have those feelings, but channel it into something positive.
It's energy, baby. It's energy.
And Marty, what I'm going to say next, I think about you in this perspective, because as I've gotten to know you and some of the things that you always share is and AJ, looking to you as the expert in this, but when you're going through rejection, talk to yourself like you talk to a friend. Because Marty, I know you talk to yourself all the time. You talk to yourself, right? Which it's this idea of, if your best friend got rejected, you wouldn't say, man, you suck, you just got rejected. So then why do we say it to ourselves?
Absolutely.
Right? And I think, Marty, I'm suspecting you're the kind of guy that says that, because you're like, you get up and you have that awareness with yourself going, well, I'm not calling out Bilous for being a sucky, so why am I saying it to myself? And AJ, that's kind of a way to look at it, isn't it, AJ, right? Which is having that conversation with our own mirror. I'm not, if you're you're my best brother, I'm not making fun of you. I'm going, fuck, what can I do to support you? So why are we so hard on ourselves, right, AJ?
Yeah. Yeah. And naturally we are as human beings, right? Where we usually talk to ourselves in way worse than we talk to anybody else that we care about. Right? And so that goes back to the adage of, you have to treat yourself like you're someone you're responsible for taking care of. Exactly. Like you said, how would you treat your friend? How would you treat your family member? How would you treat your teammate or whatever it is that you care about? That's how you got to talk to yourself. At the beginning, Marty was talking about, stuff he says to himself where maybe he feels this like wave of anxiety, not really sure where it's coming from.
Yes.
And I love two things that I love that he does. And these are both things that show up in something called solution focused therapy. Is he doesn't sit in the moment and be like, okay, well, let me do this deep dive and try to discover where this is coming from right now. He's like, no, man, I got to talk myself through this. I got shit to do. I got to get out of this. And he just moves forward.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Maybe he's like, I don't know where this anxiety is coming from.
Yeah.
You know what? It doesn't matter. I got shit to do, man. You can do this. You got this. And he's just talks to himself in a positive way that instantly changes, everything that he's paying attention to. And he's talking to himself in a positive way. He's getting out of that negative loop. He's going to start noticing more potential and more positives throughout the day. And then he just gets going, right? Instead of sitting in that pit, just being like, well, let me sit here and overanalyze for the next 2 hours.
Yes. Let the why go and focus on the how.
Right. Right. So I love that he said, like, that's a great skill to have.
Well, and AJ, I perked up when you said that, because right now men are confused whether they should have feelings, can have feelings, and what's masculinity defined as. Well, you just said in 30 seconds there, hey, feel it, accept it, have awareness on it, and then fucking get after it. It's okay to feel the emotion. Like Marty doesn't dismiss himself and go, oh, I'm feeling sad. Yes, he's going, I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling sad. I got a feeling about it, because too often men were saying, don't feel, be stoic, don't feel. No, feel it.
Yeah.
Accept that you have a goal to achieve.
Right.
Don't wallow in it, and then get after it. That to me is what I love that you said that, AJ, because too often we're like, no, you can't feel. No,
well, I think that, you said stoic, Keith. I think that people misunderstand that idea. The idea is not to take and ignore. It's to use that properly.
Yes.
That's how I digest stoic.
Yes.
Stoic is not just, don't deal with it. It's okay. Holy shit. Here it is. Let's use this for better.
Yes, that's why I like that Marty starts it and then AJ refers to it, because Marty's like, because Marty would come across as a young stoic man who maybe has identity feelings. No, Marty's got feelings, man. I've gotten to know Marty quite well. Marty has feelings, but Marty gets shit done. And there's a balance there. I've also known a lot of men that don't profess their feelings, that try to get shit done, and they get all fucked up.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Have those feelings, man. Put it into focus and get after it. Zeglin, great discussion this morning, man. Some good nuggets.
Always, baby. Always.
Yeah, always
Thanks,
good
guys.
discussion, man. I thoroughly enjoyed this one today because I think there's some good, meaningful things here that came out of the discussion because rejection happens every single day to all of us.
All the time.
Non-stop, doesn't it, AJ?
Yeah. All the time. You know, there's a great thing again, you know, dragging in a sports analogy here too.
Yeah.
There's a great statistic. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I got the general, you know, idea of it. And they're talking to Roger Federer, and they're looking at when he was at the peak of his performance, right? And obviously you get points in tennis to win games and sets and match to ultimately win the match, right? But when you look at the difference, so when he was the number one player in the world, had more major wins, had more, you know, success than anyone else at that time in his individual sport, his like percentage of win on the points, right, was something like 51%.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
and you're like it was literally almost 50-50 at that point in his career. And he had accomplished more in his sport at that time than any human who had ever played that sport. And when you looked at the percentage of his win percentage on individual points, he was at like 51% or something crazy like that. He's got a great speech on it where he talks about it. He's addressing, I think he's doing a commencement speech or something. I could probably find it online and send it to you.
Yeah.
But so, you know, the whole idea is he's like 49% of the time I was failing.
Yes.
Or getting rejected or getting whatever, you know, and like that difference is just so razor thin that with that, you know, ability to handle, you know, losing or failing 49% of the time and just keep moving forward and doing what he was doing, he gets that extra 1 or 2%, and all of a sudden you're the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? And when you
frame that, I love that when you frame that into it's like either you're not failing, you're learning, or you're winning.
Right.
You just reframe rejection. It's learn and win, learn and win. Which one's it going to be? You're going to do a lot more learning than winning, but that's how you win, as you keep learning. So are you really failing or getting rejected? No, I'm learning.
There we go. So listen, I know AJ's got to go and Marty's got to go. AJ and Marty, quick minute before we go. Hey, AJ, we know that the Jets played in Washington on Saturday. AJ, you know where Marty lives, eh? Hey, Zeglin, and also I thought that I would.
Is Marty a Caps fan though? Is he?
I wouldn't say Caps fan, but
and he's like, dude,
I root for the hometown teams.
He's like,
yeah, okay.
AJ, me and Marty are laughing over the weekend. It's like, dude, if you would have told me a year and a half ago I'm hanging out with some old fucking white dude in Winnipeg cheering on the Jets versus the Capitals, I was like, what the fuck's going on, man? So,
dude, that game was electric. Like I was watching, obviously on TV. Awesome. I felt like it had the feeling of like a Game 7 playoff game. Like the crowd seemed into it. Every time Ovi touches the puck, I feel you can hear this. I can't imagine being in the arena on TV. He gets even within 5 feet of the puck, and you hear this like swell from the crowd, like building, just waiting to see something happen. And obviously I was happy to see our hometown boys get a win. Obviously, I am a Cap supporter, as you know. Dylan McElrath,
I do know
awesome
that,
hometown Canadian Winnipeg boy, born and raised, and trained at Focus Fitness since he's been like 14 years old. We've worked with him, and he's obviously in the Caps organization and with the Caps. So, anytime they're not playing the Jets, I am cheering for the Caps and hoping that McElrath and his teammates have success.
Come on, man. Yeah, so Marty AJ's got the quiet, the Capitals clause there. And Zeglin, any comment here on the big basketball trade? I know you're also a basketball guy. Any quick comments on the basketball trade on the weekend?
So this might be an unpopular opinion.
Uh-oh, Marty.
But so I'm not saying this was the right or wrong move. Let's put that aside, okay? And let's just think of it like this. I'm okay with a team, an organization finally in the NBA kind of taking a stance of being like, hey, here's our values as an organization. These are the things that we think that are important.
Yep.
Right. And it doesn't matter if this guy scores 30 points a game or does whatever. This guy, like, we think it's important to play defense. We think that's how you win championships. This guy is arguably, and I'm not saying he doesn't have the potential to be better, but statistically, he's the worst defender in the league. He has the highest blow-by rate in the NBA. There's not anyone that plays worse defense than this
it's
man.
really bad. It's really, really bad. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there.
So I'm just like, man, okay. And, he's obviously like he's had this, he's out with injury right now. He's had this calf strain, recurring injury. It's been about the fourth time in, I think, the last 2 seasons. So I look at that but he keeps gaining weight. His conditioning is always a question. And I'm like, okay, so is this guy aligning with their values of be like, hey, like we want our players to be professional. They got to take care of themselves. You're a professional athlete. You know what's not going to help a repeated calf strain? Gaining an extra 20 pounds of body mass that's not muscle. That's not helping, right? Yeah. And he has this, he's unfortunately created this terrible situation between him and the officials with his level of complaining with the officials. So much so to what the ownership feels is maybe to the detriment of the team. And I feel like this is not just a Luka thing. This is like an NBA thing. I feel like some of the complaining that goes on in games has reached like a peak high that
it's been crazy.
I feel doesn't belong in professional sports. But again, so I kind of see, these dudes in Dallas being like, hey, yes, he's only 25 years old. Is he a generational offensive talent? So far, what he's seen. Yeah, he has offensive statistics that, he's in the small categories with guys like Jordan and LeBron and stuff of what they've accomplished offensively under the age of 25. But if you're telling me that, hey, here's our values, like this is what we want to do as an organization. We think defense wins championships. We want our guys to be professionals in how they carry themselves and take care of themselves on and off the court. We want to play the game hard and in a respectful way where we're like, we're a man out there. We're not just whining about everything, but we're not focused on that. We're focused on doing the right things on the court. I'm like, this guy in my mind doesn't check those boxes. You know what I mean?
And I'm not saying like a cancer too. It can spread into the rest of his teammates too. You know?
And let me.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I was about to say. Let me add this too.
Yeah.
There's pictures of him of fans around the city taking pictures of him smoking hookah.
Yeah.
Crushing beers.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's an unknown. It's known, very well known that he goes out and enjoys himself around the city. Yeah. So I'm not mad at the organization at all for getting doing what they have to do.
What's fascinating about this is very much like John Anderson's philosophy. It's both values. If they're not providing any value, cut them out of my life.
Well, in Matt,
pro sports, right?
From you guys are going to maybe relate to this. I know from a training standpoint. So their whole performance team that was there. So when you're looking at their director of performance, you're looking at their head of strength and conditioning. Yeah. You're looking at some of their physical therapists. All these guys have been removed. They actually lost their jobs because of this guy. Because guy, so they've changed out their whole team because these guys couldn't get Luka kind of reined in and performing better. And so these guys were all removed from their positions and they brought in a whole new staff, kind of thinking that maybe part of the issue was that he had too strong of a personal relationship with these guys. So these guys weren't maybe pushing him in the way that he could. So these guys all lost their jobs. They brought in a new group of guys and obviously they weren't able to push him in a meaningful way and get him over that hump either. And he kept just kind of gaining more weight and not being in shape. And, and of course, to be fair, this is all information that I am reading that's being reported on the internet. It's not like I know anyone personally in the situation, but I feel like you kind of read these things all from, what seem to be credible sources. And you're like, hey man, there's a theme here,
When it seems to make sense, what you're reading.
I'll say this too. Look at his face from his rookie year and look at his face now. It's way puffier now. And we know when you're doing the bad stuff, it goes straight to your face for a lot of people. Dude, so
he's almost their weight. What they said was he was just over 270 pounds.
It's crazy, so man.
He's
6'7".
He's a tall man by our standards. In the basketball world, he's fairly average. Right around that 6'6" mark or whatever. Right, maybe a little taller, but still like. I don't know. So I'm kind of like, hey man, good for an NBA organization because I feel like in that sport, the majority of the time they would just kind of cater to and being like, well, whatever, he's a star and he scores 30 points a game. And like his blow by rate, Keith, is
That's
almost
really
at
bad.
almost at 50%. So the blow by rate means that you make no effort to stop the guy defensively.
So
like
bad.
you literally
Just let him go
stand
by
there and let him blow by you. That's
Literally.
what it.
That's brutal, man.
That's a
So
statistic.
bad, man.
He's almost at 50%. He's at like 44, 46%, which means that almost half the time, like if he's guarding you, 50% of the time, he's going to make no effort. He will just stand there and let you go right by him.
So
with
bad.
Zero effort. And I'm like, this is a statistic. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm kind of okay with the move, right? Like,
I'm
people
cool
see,
with it.
you know, being a positive that he's young, like, oh, he's 25 years old. And I'm like, yeah, but the Mavs are probably sitting there being, hey, next year we got to commit to like the Supermax extension on this guy,
Which is 350 million
350, and
for
so
5
now we're
years.
gonna be, so yeah, now we're going to be saddled with this guy for
70 million a year.
right? For the next 10 years in our organization. And if we don't feel he fits our values, how do we bring in other guys and try to teach them our values and be
It's
like,
cancerous. It's cancerous.
this is how
it's
like you can't do it, right?
Yeah.
the
I
negative
see
shit
ICUC
spreads.
times 7.
Yeah. Breaking down the trade with AJ Zeglen.
Hey, give me an AJ sports segment, man.
I think so.
That'd be crazy.
We got a sports segment coming up with Zeglin and Marty here. Evenings in the lab with AJ and Marty breaking down basketball. All right, well, listen, Zeglin, you've been giving us lots of time here today.
You got me fired up now, man.
Marty's got to get to work. Marty's going to go to the Gold's Gym and say, fuck, man, I got some dude here playing
Listen,
keep me from going to work.
it's taking everything in me not to respond to AJ too, because I gotta go.
All right, boys, you get out of here. Marty, you get out of here. Me and Johnny are going to keep the show going and wrap it up in a few more. Johnny's going to go for a piss, and we'll get back after, okay? AJ, thanks, brother.
Yeah, thanks, guys, as always.
Thanks, AJ.
All right, we'll see you later. Marty,
Thank you, brother.
See y'all tomorrow, man.
All right,
Have a good look, brother.
Marty's going to
You
get
too.
out of here. Johnny, you go for a break. Let's come back and you got 10 minutes with me, or you got to rock and you got to go out of here?
Yeah, you got to get, shit, it's actually 20. I got to go. Shit, I didn't realize the time. Having so much fun.
Yeah, great conversation. So listen, I know yesterday you and I wanted to come back to 10 steps to build life with purpose. So we're going to keep that conversation going tomorrow with how. Give some folks some things to hang on. But you get after it. Really enjoyed you today, man. Great, a fun show today. Make sure the ketchup's in the fridge. And
yes.
And one last thing, I can tell you're feeling better, man. You are closer to 90 than yesterday's 80. I love it.
Yeah, I'm definitely moving in the right direction. Let's go, baby.
All right, get after it, pal. We'll talk to you later. Okay?
Have a good loop, brother.
You, brother. All right, Johnny's gonna get out of here, guys. We're gonna reset the show here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Myself, Christopher Martin, aka C Marty Fit, Johnny Anderson, aka the strong man, the bodybuilder. Yeah. One of the world's strongest men, John Anderson. And of course, AJ Zeglin joining us here this morning from Invictus Mental Performance. He's a mental performance mind coach. AJ works with men, women, athletes around the planet, helping them sort shit out from the mind. Listen, we know that strength happens in the gym, but strength largely starts up here, and AJ helps unlock that. We had a big conversation about basketball, the Luka trade here. And today on the show here, we got into a number of topics. We talked about where the ketchup goes, boys. Does the ketchup go in the counter or does the ketchup go in the fridge? We talked about squatting, the power of squatting. Jimmy, we talked about squatting with Nation today and this idea that, guys, squatting is going to make you live longer. And we're not talking about going to the gym and doing the big squats. If you want to go to the gym to do big squats, great. But, guys, you can get through your day, into the bathroom, into your bedroom. When you go to the restroom and you do those kind of things, you're squatting. The power of squatting is going to make you live longer. So I think we want to get into making sure we get those squats done throughout the day. We talked about rejection, guys. We talked about following up here today as well. Following up is one of those things that I know myself as a sales guy, as an entrepreneur, sometimes we're reluctant to do. But guys, the power of following up, if there's any advice I can offer you guys, is don't let your mind make up the decision for somebody else who you think they're going to make the decision, right? Allow that person to make the decision. Allow them to say no to you. Allow them to say yes to you. Don't not make the call because you've already made your mind up with what they're going to say. In my experience, that's often the reason we don't follow up. So if I was doing a role play with Jimmy, I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't want to call Jimmy because Jimmy's saying no. I'm not going to. Jimmy's going to turn me out. Jimmy's just not going to answer my call. So I work myself up, and then inevitably I don't make the call. Guys, make the call. Send the email. Here's the other thing I learned as well. Do you want to live with life with regrets or no regrets? If your job is to sell, if your job is to grow a business, your job's to follow up. It's as simple as that. If you're not following up, you're not doing your job. And in my experience, good entrepreneurs, business people, salespeople will follow up like a mofo. Those are the kind of people you want around yourself, because those are the people that are going to get results. So as difficult as it is, get onto those follow-ups. We talked about that as well here today, guys. What else we got out here today, Jimmy? Yeah, we talked rejection. We talked about and we talked about the accountability check-in. You know, this morning with this idea of if you're catching yourself that this is boring, then you might be doing the wrong thing. But often, or I'm not say often, sometimes when things are boring, it might also be the right thing to be doing as well. So just, you know, kind of look at how you're measuring progress. And progress isn't necessarily all about excitement. Progress isn't necessarily about winning the championship. Progress is all most certainly about consistency. Every single day, showing up and doing your thing, right? Creating momentum through movement. All right, Jim, let's do it. Let's get to the community corner, to the creator spotlight. I'm going to pull up the notes here so that we can have some fun with this one here. And it looks like today we have somebody with 3 names. Yeah, 3 names, or 1 plus half, 2, and 3. Jim, I'm just going to move this over here while I get myself set up. Hey, listen, guys, while I'm doing this, I'm going to offer some of you guys, if you guys are into being a creator or into the YouTube channel stuff, or want to be a creator or start thinking about creating a YouTube channel, if you have a YouTube channel, I would invite you guys to look at your community tab. YouTube's spending a lot of time emphasizing the idea of community. Guys, I'm telling you right now, stop thinking about vanity metrics. Stop thinking about those fake followers, those AI followers, those numbers that make you feel good, those numbers that give you the dopamine hit, those numbers that don't drive business. Stop vanity, focus on community. And in my experience, you got to read between the lines on big decisions that the platforms are making. YouTube is putting an enormous amount of value and monetary investment into community. That should tell you something. So if you're into building a channel, into building a community, you know, YouTube is giving you the tools to do that. Don't miss out on it. Because if you do, you know, these times only happen, don't happen all the time, right? So we are really, in my point of view, a once in a lifetime opportunity to create new media, new content in a world where, yeah, some would say it's free. It's not free. There's a time investment, but man, the barrier to entry to doing something like this is relatively low. Okay, Jim, let's do it. You get that, let's get the visuals ready for our creator spotlight, because today, Jimmy, we're going to celebrate a Substack creator. Hey, you guys on Substack? We all know what's happened the last couple of weeks about TikTok and all these owned platforms. Here's the reality, guys. If you're building your networks on other platforms, you're building rented audiences. But if you're building a network on Substack, you're owning the email address. Yeah. So today we're going to celebrate a Substack creator whose work is reshaping leadership from the inside out. Good movie, by the way, Inside Out. Jimmy, you seen Inside Out? Great movie about emotions. Good to teach the children about emotions. I'd encourage you guys to see Inside Out if you haven't seen it yet. But most leadership advice is about power, control, and frankly, scaling faster. But what if the real key to leadership wasn't about pushing harder? What do you think it is, Jimmy? What do you think it is, Tommy? What about aligning deeper? This guy, he's worked with the world's biggest brands. No, you're not. We're not talking Uncle Keith right now. I've worked with some of the world's biggest brands. Yeah, true story. You name them, I've probably worked with them. Coca-Cola, yep. Air Canada, yep. Novartis, yep. Starbucks, yep. Disney, yep. Name a big brand. I've probably worked with them. But we're not here to talk about me, Jimmy. Nope. We're here to talk about the guy we're celebrating for today's Creator Spotlight. This guy guided leaders through transformation, and he built spaces where leadership isn't just about results. It's about, I like this one, Jimmy, resonance. Today, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Jimmy, you ready? Is very excited to present and introduce all of you today to Jimmy. Hold on, I get the buttons here. Yes, Rudy Duval. I hope I'm saying your name there right, Rudy. Rudy is the founder of Unconditional Men, the co-founder of Regenerate X. Listen, we're not talking WWE, Rudy. We're not talking the Generation X or Regeneration X back in the Attitude Era. Hey, man, I've been all over the planet. I know my WWE. Yeah, true story. And a guiding force for leaders ready to align with their essence for deeper impact. Now, Rudy, his work, it blends presence, purpose, and connection, helping leaders move beyond outdated paradigms and into something more meaningful, more sustainable, and Jim, more human. Yep. Rudy, through his Substack, explores the intersection of leadership, personal growth, and system change, helping leaders break free from burnout, reconnect with their truth, and lead with authenticity. Because the future doesn't belong to those who cling to old models. It belongs to those who evolve, expand, and redefine what leadership truly means. Today, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends is proud and excited to celebrate you, Rudy Duval, who's leading the evolution. And if you're ready to lead with presence and purpose, this dude, his work is a powerful place to start. So Rudy, here's how it works, brother. We've taken some time to celebrate you, the work you're doing on Substack, LinkedIn, all over across the platforms. Love the work that you're doing. Want to shine the proverbial light on you. And now what we're doing for you is inviting you to the lab, Rudy. We'd love to have you on the show because we suspect there's somebody in your orbit who you'd like to celebrate that we could bring light to and bring attention to. So Rudy, you're invited to the lab, my friend. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to help you get your ass out of bed, help men achieve their big, most audacious goals. Love to have you in the lab, Rudy, and celebrate somebody in your orbit. There you go. It's the accountability check-in this morning with Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, let's change the camera angle there. Jim, I think that we're ready to wrap up, my friend. I think that we're ready to wrap the show up here today. Another great show, guys. Always fun. You know where to find us. We are the only morning show that shows up every single day. We show up on LinkedIn. We show up on YouTube. We show up on X. We show up on Twitch. We're doing things that others aren't doing. And you know what? I fucking love it. I love it. I love that we're doing something others aren't doing. And I love the fact, Good Time, you're still here. I appreciate you, Good Time. I love the fact that we're moving the needle. We're creating a new kind of media experience here, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. And we get after it every single day. So we're going to have to see you guys tomorrow. Let's just see what we got on the agenda tomorrow here, guys. Let's quickly pull it up here. Jimmy, Good Time. Thanks, man. We're going to keep with the good work. Let's get some squatting here today, Good Time, if you can. I'm sure you're going to go to the toilet a few times. So if we're doing that, let's get those squats in and make sure life is heading forward here. Let's see. Tomorrow's show is going to be, so tomorrow we're going to go behind the scenes. Yep. We're going to talk a little bit about what you guys don't see behind the scenes. What does that mean? I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. I'll create the script, create our talking points today to bring it up here tomorrow for Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. But until then, Jimmy, you hear the sound. I hear the sound. Good Time. I'm there now. Yes, you are. Oh. Hey, we're bringing the show to the bathrooms of North America with our friend Good Time. That's it. Jimmy, I appreciate you, man. On the buttons, we got Jimmy. He's always here making sure I look good, I sound good, making sure the cameras are right, making sure we're staying on track. This show doesn't work as good as if Jimmy's not here. So all the love, all the props to Jimothy. We got Tommy in the community, making sure you guys are all having some fun out there in the community, interacting with all you guys, making posts, making content, engaging with all of you guys to keep giving you guys things to think about. We had AJ here as well this morning, mind field expert. Looking for a mental performance expert? I'd invite you to connect with AJ Zeglen. You can find him on LinkedIn as well. Find him on Instagram. Johnny Anderson's hanging out with us as well every single day. Marty hangs out with us every single day. And of course, me. I'm the host. I'm Keith Willis. I'm here every single day at 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on LinkedIn, X, YouTube. Jimmy, we'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to get out of here. See you, everybody.